All right, 3 p.m. on the dot. Yes, so I got it today. Perfect timing. Good afternoon, everybody. Is once again the Elegbete TV Table Talk. My name is Idafe Matthew. I want to appreciate everyone for always showing consistency and sticking with the show. Well, you guys asked for it, and here we have it. That's on today, but what's on the front burner of our discourse is the Mourinho conundrum. Is the third season course a myth or a reality? Is it true that Mourinho has a course that makes it impossible for him to perform well past the third season? Look across every club that is coached, the third season have all gone south. No matter how successful he's been in the first 2 seasons, on the third season, he comes up with his own crisis, creates a lot of problems with the players, with the management, with the fans, and eventually gets sacked. So I'm looking at it from different perspectives. First off, is it really a cause or is it a myth? If it's a cause, where did the cause start from? If it's a myth, how come it keep repeating itself? Then on the other hand, excuse me, thank God this is uncensored. Yeah. Now, on the other hand, there is another side that I want to look at it from, and that is the angle of, could it be that Jose Mourinho and his agents who gave in this, excuse me, could it be that Jose Mourinho and Jorge Mendes are cooking up this controversy, so that they can get a big payday? Because the way coaches' contracts are signed have always given me cause to worry. When a coach is fired, you pay him the rest of his contract. So let's say, for instance, you are entitled to £10 million or £15 million per annum in your contract. That is, if you work for 1 year, you get paid 15 million. If you're fired, you still get paid all that money. So it's create this type of conundrum where you start thinking coaches could just engineer their sack, get fired, and then still get the money. I don't know if it is possible that Jose Mourinho and his agent are, cooking up this storm to get themselves fired, because happen once, it's a mistake, happen second time, it's a coincidence, happen the third time is, but then when it becomes 4, from the third one going to the fourth time, you start noticing that this is a pattern. Something is happening here that we need to look into, that we need to talk about, that we need to checkmate, that we need to see. And I think that, in my own opinion, I think that Jose Mourinho is beginning to create a pattern. And he just come up and start talking, start giving you reason that, what, this season, I'm not interested in making it work. If there is anything that will work, I've made up my mind to mess this up. Because that's the way I see him, not necessarily like a guy who wants to make this whole situation work and make things get better, but rather as a guy who will gladly wreck the ship, gets paid big, and then goes to another job. Just I've been asking a few friends, both the guys in UK and my friends over here, that Mourinho gets fired today from Manchester United. Which other job is available for him? Where is he going to get a job? Probably, most likely, we'll go to Italy. Inter Milan might call him again. I don't know, because the way it is, it seems a little bit difficult for me. I'm also Precious. Good afternoon to you. You're 4 minutes late today, but I mean, it's still the beginning. We're marching on. Okay, before you showed up, I was talking about Mourinho and the third year course. Is it a myth? Is it real? Or is it something that is deliberately engineered by Jose Mourinho and his agent? And I said that it used to be a myth, like people are just talking, but it's happened too many times. I'm forced to think that it's a cause, but even if it's a cause, who caused him? What if it's a self-engineered thing, like, the way the coaches' contract are structured, you will be paid whether you work or you don't work, for as long as you get fired. If you sack me, you will still pay me the whole value of my 1 year contract. Why should I work the 1 year? You know, there is a possibility, you know, we think in this part of the world, they are too professional, such a thing. I'm not one of those people that say, an African man always believes Oyibo mess na perfume. Well, I'm not one of those who believe so. I believe that crime is not a racial thing. Crime it has nothing to do with your country, where you come from, but it has something to do with your person. So, looking at Mourinho, do you guys think that? Let me even hear from the two people that are here right now. Do you guys think that the Jose Mourinho thing, this third season syndrome that has come along for a while now, do you think it's a cause or it's a deliberate thing that Mourinho just does and like, you know what, let them even fire myself and pay me off. I'm tired of this work. I want to go get some of that thing. First, it was Real Madrid. I thought that Real Madrid was a place where Mourinho would stay for a very long time. Engineered his way out of it. Now again, look at this preseason. It's akin to the season he got fired in Madrid. He started talking anyhow, accusing the fans, fighting with Cristiano Ronaldo, fighting with the board. You know, he got fired. Now again, 2 seasons ago, him and Ed Woodward were in a love nest. Last season, they were all together. When Pogba was signed for him, you know, the previous season, they were all in love. They were kissing and telling. All of a sudden now, they are gloves in hand, boxing each other. Ed Woodward is not good. I need 2 more players. I need 5 more players. I need this. I need that. The thing is, he's not even showing sign like he wants to even make effort to work with the players he's got. The same Pogba that is not good enough was the Pogba that led France midfield for them to go win the World Cup. So he's not even making effort like, okay, I want to integrate Marshall. I have Alexis Sanchez. Let me make good use of him. I'm going to, you know, he's not making all those efforts. It's just acting like, you know what? I beg, let them even just start losing. If they can lose their first 5 games of the season and fire me, I'll be fine. I must say, I think this syndrome became more profound from his final season at Madrid. He's gradually becoming intolerant. Yes. So, but my question here is, do you guys think that Mourinho is just forcing this, like making it happen himself so he gets paid? Because it's a numbers game. If I work and get paid 15 million and I don't work and I still get paid 15 million, don't you think somewhere that system that allows that to happen, there is a loophole that somebody would always exploit, you know, in that system? So that's what I'm looking at. I might be wrong anyway, but that's what I'm looking at. While, you know, we're pondering on that, the Liverpool team, all of a sudden, a lot of former Liverpool players from Rush to Badsley to Bruce Grobella to Redknapp, Jimmy Redknapp, not Harry, Jimmy Redknapp, and Robbie Fowler, Michael Owen. They are all believing that this is the best Liverpool team in the last 40 years. Now, that's the talk that is going around among the sources, and everybody is saying that this Liverpool team is actually good enough to win the treble. This Liverpool team can imitate the Sir Alex Ferguson team of 1999 and win the treble. I need us on the table talk. I need us to talk about it. Liverpool, as they are today, is this the team that can win? I mean, I'm not even talking of a treble now. I'm not talking of Liverpool winning the league, winning the FA Cup, and winning Capital One Cup, or probably winning the Champions League. I'm not talking about that. Is this Liverpool team really good enough to win the league title? Is this the team? Is this the team that can win the Champions League, or probably win the league, win one major title? They don't need to win it all. If they win the Champions League and don't win the league, fantastic. If they win the league and don't win the Champions League, fantastic. But my question is this the team? I leave you guys to focus on that. I'm also pressure say, I see your point of view, but don't you think it's already exhausted its option among the tier 1 clubs? The only 2 big clubs that can afford him are PSG and Bayern. Bayern will not employ him. Bayern does not employ a coach like Mourinho. Bayern does not play. Bayern will not employ him. I don't know about PSG, but Bayern definitely will not employ him. If it's PSG, maybe, but definitely not Bayern. There's a way by Bayern. Jose Mourinho is not a Bayern kind of coach. No, Jose Mourinho, no, he's not a Bayern kind of coach. So while we're talking about Jose Mourinho and the third season conundrum, let's also remember the Liverpool issue. Another thing, yes, Chelsea, they've been linked to almost every player this window. The window actually closes in 9 days' time. Today is 31st of July. The window in England is going to close 5 p.m. 9th of August. So in 9 days' time, 5, 7, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. 9 days from now, Chelsea has been linked to almost everybody from Rugani to Bonucci to Gonzalo Higuain. Now we hear Gonzalo Higuain is going on loan to AC Milan because Cristiano Ronaldo is a UA. Somebody needs to give way. This Chelsea team, hypothetically, they don't sell Hazard, they don't sell Thibaut Courtois, they don't sell anybody. We also hear that the club is ready to offer World Cup winning player, a player that is unknown a couple of seasons ago, N'Golo Kante. They say N'Golo Kante can cover 70% of the earth like water. They're offering him is going to become like the highest earning player in the club, £290,000 a week. I think he's deserved it anyway. He's really proved it with his consistency. Now let's even go with the fact that it doesn't go away. He stays. Chelsea signed in a player, Jorginho. Okay, so Jorginho is there. Bakayoko is there. Drinkwater, all those average players that they signed. When I said they were average that time, people almost cut my neck. Morata stays. Olivier Giroud stays. Olivier Giroud is kind of striker that scores when he wants to score, not when the team needs him to score. Same for Morata. So let's even just take it that it stays. Is this Chelsea team good enough? Can they deliver? Let's not forget that Maurizio Sarri is going to be the first coach since Roberto Di Matteo that Chelsea is employing that have not won anything before. What is the fate of Chelsea? What might happen? What's going to happen to this Chelsea team under Maurizio Sarri? Let's not forget that Maurizio Sarri too is one of those coaches that believe in one particular philosophy. It's either my way or no what's going to happen. These are questions that, I mean, normally you guys throw me questions. Today I'm throwing the questions to you guys. You guys need to answer me. And it's also not nice that, you know, people are watching and only Precious is making comments. But let's go to what Precious has got to say again. He said for Liverpool, they have a balanced team, but my concern is Klopp. It seems to have just one way of playing. There are games where you just need to win dirty, and I think that's where they will falter. I think I'll go with you on that. Yeah, you just raised a very valid point. There are actually games where you need to just grind results. Don't go gung-ho all at time, missing chances, and then the opposition, like them Burnley. You know, Burnley seems to, I don't know if their tactics is luck. Because when I watch Burnley play, I don't like they have any exceptional player. And most of the teams like win against Liverpool, win against Man United, or anybody they win against, you could tell that the team that lost had played better, created more chances, but on the day they don't convert the chances, and then, you know, they managed to score one goal, they lock shop. That might just happen anyway. I don't know. Let's see how it goes. But is this Liverpool team really as good as people, you know, from Anfield side of town are raising the hope? And if they are that good, this hope that they are raising this early before the start of the season, is it not going to put so much pressure? Because everybody now will focus on Liverpool, like, let's do one over there, let's bust their bubble, let's get them. And that might just be a problem. Now, another talking point that I raised, Manchester City, Guardiola's Manchester City. They did 100, a record. This season, they don't need to do 100 points. It is not important. They also don't need to beat the 100 points. They need to beat all the other teams. Pep Guardiola is used to leagues where he runs the rules on everybody. He just goes winning spree and all that. But there's a chink in the armor of this team. the two men who are meant to lead the attack of Pep Guardiola, Sergio Kun Aguero and Gabriel Jesus, seem to be, Aguero seemed to be on the downward. Gabriel Jesus seemed to me like is injury prone and can give you between 30 to 35 goals per season. What is going to be the fate of Man City this season, bearing in mind a team like Liverpool would want to make a statement and keep winning lots of goals? It's the fate of Pep. If Pep does not win the league this season, doesn't win the Champions League this season, be considered a failure. Last season be considered a fluke. These are the point on the side of Man City. Let's go to Germany. In Germany, no team, as a matter of fact, in the 5 leagues of Europe, no team have more wingers than Bayern Munich. But then in certain areas, they are weak. They've got 8 wingers on their team, 8 players who play wide, even though some can play central role. Like we're hearing that they want to give Frank Ribery a more central role so that he can accommodate the wide players. Is that a good way to plan for this coming season, especially knowing that they are having a new coach who would be Nikola Kovac, who would take some time to settle in? This is the best way to get it done. Now, it's all in your hand. Let's hear from you. Muscle Precious. Burnley shows you why Sean Dyche is called G. Mourinho. A blend of that stubbornness that has flowed with the finesse of last season may be good enough to push Liverpool to a title. I think we on that one. That one I can't argue with you on that one. We seem to. I think I need to invite you now. Okay, we're getting close to it. Don't worry, we'll still invite you. In a couple of weeks' time, I'll send that invite to you because I think you, the way you write, if you talk like that, I think we could do a few things together. We could just hang out on the show together. Let's not forget that very soon the show will be bigger than this. I'm not going to tell you where that is, but let's just keep that under wrap for now. Now let's go to Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain still have. Let's move further down to Italy. AC Milan have new owners. AC Milan says they want Gonzalo Higuain on loan and with an option to permanent the deal. Gonzalo Higuain is 30. Is that the kind of player they need right now? And then, secondly, why is it that all of a sudden it seems like strikers are beginning to disappear from football? Also be a time where everywhere you turn, there are strikers, great midfielders in the game of football. Right now, strikers are disappearing. Most of the major goal scorers are wide players coming into the middle to score. The center forward players don't even score that much again. What is happening? Must be Precious. Say Precious, Pep will be fine this season, even if it doesn't repeat the feats of last year. The pressure is on Jose and Klopp, and this may also work in Pep's favor. He could retain the title. I think so too. I think so too. But I fear Liverpool. For once, I fear them. I think that Liverpool team, if they pull their out together, pull their string very well, that Liverpool team have got something in them to trouble anyone and everyone. Don't take them for granted. Yeah, guys, it's still the Elegbete TV Table Talk, and we are touching on topical issues that are in the front burner of sports. Let's jump away from football and go to basketball. Yeah. While the transfers going on back and front, the free agency and all that, LeBron James did something in his own of Akron in Cleveland, and it's Ohio. You know, it's sweet and nice. He built a public school. You understand? The I Promise School, IPS. Now, he built a public school. That's what they call it. Too. But if you live in Nigeria, the standard of that school is better than the schools we have anywhere in this country. And the school would accommodate 250 pupils. And then his school is designed to produce the next LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Serena Williams, Michael Phelps. I mean, it comes with a whole lot of facility. And he's just living to go to LA. More like a parting gift for his own and his village people. While over here in Nigeria, you know, we always see village people as witches that are worrying you, that are trying to mess your business up and all that. But LeBron James has shown the stuff is made of. Is this enough inspiration for you and I and people back here to say, you know what, we can go to our village and make something work? Hey, look at my boss. My boss is watching this video. I'm so excited. Mr. Emeka Ezeibe, how are you? How are you? Greetings from me and the entire EcoBeat. Your promise is sweet in our hearts. All right, let me take the message from this one from Mercy Precious. It said the emphasis on that lump of a center forwards started changing with the introduction of the false nine at Barcelona. Center forward is more of a decoy for the nimble wide players to do their damage. Now, Precious, I want to meet you now. Tell me wherever you are, your office is. I want to come visit you. Anywhere you're working, please type it there. I think I need to come visit you. You too, Noble. I like this guy's brain. Okay, let me take my boss's message. Emeka Ezeibe say, good business by AC Milan to get Higuain. The team has not stabilized yet, and Higuain is almost in the twilight of his career. It will give them the much needed experience up front. Yes, that's what I thought about Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. Remember when AC Milan signed the guy? I thought like, you know, okay, this is something I don't say too often. I'm a diehard fan of AC Milan. I don't say this too often. But if you grew up in my generation, you know that if you grew up in my generation and you follow football, you obviously know that that's the one club you must support. I mean, you grew up in the generation where Marco Van Basten, Ruud Gullit, Frank Rijkaard, Lentini, Platini, Jim Paris were the main guys. Come on. I can't help it. It's not my fault. I love AC Milan, but yeah, I'm grown. It's different. I love Italian football. I got treated in Turin, so I have my sentiment for Juventus. Like I just love them like that. Like, I love them like that, just like that. You know when girls date Aristo, you don't understand. You don't understand. It just makes me happy. He's a nice man. That's how I feel towards Juventus. I like AS Roma because of their beautiful jersey. I like Napoli too because of that. My nice, fairy tale that comes with them, I love them, but I mean, you all know that I'm an Arsenal fan. I was born into it. I mean, father worked there, so I support this freaking team. Like the Gunners, but we don't have bullets. We don't have bullet for like 12 years now. Let's see if we've recalibrated our gun and now we don't have a bullet. But that's the first side of the show. It's still the table talk. I mean, I'm having fun. The funny thing is today people are not many, but I'm having fun. I'm just, I'm in that mood. I'm in my mood. And when I get in this mood, like when I used to be on radio, when I get in this mood, people like Tony, like, hey, Edafe, you keep people today. I'm in that mood. That keep people today. It's just that unfortunately too many people are not watching this video. Okay, I actually prepared myself like, okay, a lot of people will come up with questions or pop up. I've been researching and reading. I've gone out for like meetings and I had to cut short some meetings for this. I've discovered, I've been thinking since like, okay, this show that I'm even doing 3 to 4, how would I be able to meet up with meetings here and there? But I've discovered that I can actually plan meetings because I live in Nigeria. I've gone to Ikeja, I'm back, VI, Ikoyi. So I know that, okay, I can work it and it's making me happy anyway. Yes, Evaristo says, they say hello, team. Elegbete, good afternoon to you. Yeah, thank you for joining halfway through the show. We're talking about different talking points. You can read through, you know where we're coming from. But going forward, AC Milan, I think Emeka Izibe, my boss, I've asked that question already. It's a good bit by similar. You know, that thing was only going for a loan instead of a full 80 million. They are not interested in buying a 30-year-old player for 80 million. It's not a good business by my own thinking. But I'm asking this question: what happened to center forward? How come we no longer have center forward? I grew up having seeing center forwards like Giorgio Pongue, Marco Van Basten, what's it called? Leonardo, not the midfielder, that guy, Simeone, Filippo Inzaghi, Andrei Shevchenko, Alan Shearer, Robbie Fowler, and Rush, Dwight York, and the Cole, Pete Gillespie, so many names anyway. And then there was Trezeguet, then there was Thierry Henry, then there was Davos at Real Madrid, there was Raul Gonzalez, funny kind of small player, but really a center forward. But these days, center forward players, even Zlatan Ibrahimovic is fading out already. You can't call him, in this era. Lewandowski is almost at the end of his own. Gonzalo Higuain is 30 already. So where are the center forward? Because for me, Mo Salah, he may have scored over 40 goals last season, but it's not a center forward. Where are the center forward? That happened. Did Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi? It started with Thierry Henry anyway. Did they? Ruud van Nistelrooy? Yes, those kind of center forward. As football evolved to a point where center forward, ghost scorers, Rashidi Yakini, Samuel Eto'o, Crespo, Rashidi Yakini, thank you very much, Professor Emeka Izibe. Did football evolve to a point where these kind of players are no longer needed? Well, while you're drawing on that, while you're biting on that, let's bring it home. Yeah, we are close to the half-hour mark now. Let's bring it home. The top goal scorer in the Nigerian Professional Football League, his name is Junior Lokosa, scoring goals like goals are going out of fashion, banging in the goals left, front, back, and center. Went to Bulgaria, backwaters of European football. Went to Bulgaria's, he failed trial, been in Norway, also failed the trials there. So I'm asking, and then, from the few clips we've gotten from our grassroots work, I've come to notice that at grassroots level, where you have little or no qualification for coaches, players are very, very expressive. Talent is there to see, but then they move to the national teams or professional level, and that skill, that finesse, that thing that we used to like about people like them, Dukudi, not really a fan of, but let's just add a coach out to that list, Etimesin, that skill, that finesse that comes with football players will just disappear. They become the existing, Monday Sinclair used to say, Bruce Grass player. This boy just come, he just kick him anyhow. Anywhere but left face na front. What happened between grassroots and pro that changes our players from that changes our players from I just got a sprain on my shoulder now. That changes our players or transform our players from very skillful, very talented, visionary players to monosyllabic players, monodirectional. What changed them? What changed them? What really happened? Because, there are some clips that we've not even uploaded yet. I'm taking time. I'm studying them like from a coaching perspective. Like, okay, these players don't really have the best of coaching, but their movement, their control, their passes, their ability to dribble, they enjoy. You will tell that they're enjoying the game. What happened from now? If you see that player maybe in 3, 4, 5 years playing in the national team or playing in the Nigerian league, he'll become a different kind of player. What really happens? Is it improper coaching style at the league level? What is really the problem? Well, for those of you who follow the league, that's one thing you should know. Look at and you know, find answers to. Well, let me come over to. I mean, we have 4 people viewing. So, from Emeka to Evarestus and Precious, thank you very much. This shoulder strain, it's been here for a while. It was the time they tackled me and I fell with it way back. That was 1999 or 2000. I fell on it and I've had that. It just come and goes. I felt the pinch. I need to put ice pack. Okay. Amaswe says, at the time age, players have the raw ability, but you need a skilled coach to help the young ones evolve properly. Okay, I would have to agree with you. I guess that's where these foreign academies that are coming into Nigeria, there is FC Bescola in Lagos, the Barcelona Academy. I'm still waiting to see product of that. But then, are you guys aware that Juventus also have an academy now? The academy in Nigeria, the academy is in Abuja. And not only is the academy in Abuja, the beautiful thing about the academy is that they are doing their summer screening and camp for this first season. And they're going to do in Lagos and Abuja and see how they can pick up some people. I think and then I'm hearing that Real Madrid also is going to open up their own in a couple of years from now in Port Harcourt. Do you guys think that that's the way to go? Like every state should try and pursue one club abroad, bring Arsenal Academy, bring Real Madrid Academy, bring Juventus, all these foreign clubs, because it seems like our local coaches, our academies are failing these players. And if we continue like this, we just might not produce the talent required for our national team, because football is gone past, you know, the way we see it. There is a scientific side of it, and then there is a part where your skill, your God-given skill, would have to add up to it. You know, we're having issues with that. So let me see. Emeka Ezebe said, I think that there would be a significant difference between a skillful player coached and mentored by Mourinho and Wenger. Mikel always comes to mind. You know, that argument, most times when people bring it up, I always argue in favor of Mourinho. You know why? The same Mourinho coached Deco. Remember? This same Jose Mourinho coached Deco. Deco was one skillful midfielder that played for him. It couldn't be an accident. This same Mourinho coached Lampard, coached a few other players who were also very skillful. Coached, what's it called? Penny McCarthy of South Africa. Not necessarily, because Wenger also coached people like Bretner, coached people like Yaya Sanogo. This is what I know about football. Yeah, coaching plays a very big role in it. Coaching plays a very, very, very massive role. But then there's a willingness of the player to improve. There's one interview that Thierry Henry granted some time ago. I've always been on the school of that anyway, but it's not because Thierry Henry granted an interview. Because most times when people say Thierry Henry, as a Wenger made Thierry Henry, and they say that to me too, most times, like the radio station you work at made you. And I said, no, it's a two-way thing. When people say that thing, we should also give credit to the player or the person who put in the work. There is the job that a coach will do, but then there is also the side where a player decides, you know what, I don't want to be average, I don't want to be mediocre, I don't want to be at the bottom of the food chain, I want to be the best in my time. So you start putting in the hard work, you start putting in the effort. No matter what the coach teaches you, coach is not going to make you run. A coach is not going to make you dribble. A coach is not going to make you instinctive, especially for forward-playing players. There are no tactics for forward-playing player. I can tell you tactics, either do man marking or do zonal marking at the back, or do high line or low line, or defend to the depth. A midfield to tell you the system of play, the passing, how to retrieve the ball. But you know, up front, ask any striker this. It is up to you. As a striker, as a forward player, it is up to you. The coach is not going to tell you how to chip a ball. Most of the things you do as a striker is instinctive, is based on instinct. So are we losing that part? Because that's the part that I'm looking at right now. I mean, you can't tell me that one coach was a coach that coached Shekini and told Shekini to be hitting shots. No, he just realized that this is what I have, and then he worked on it, and that's it. I'm also approaching. Say I watched an interview Drogba granted, and he spoke of how long himself and Lampard stayed back after regular training to practice attacking moves. Beautiful. Our players don't have that extra drive. That's my point. You know, look at Cristiano Ronaldo, for instance. Have you seen people, his former teammate, talk about it? Like, apart from normal tactical training that coaches gives, this guy will stay 3-4 hours more. First off, if Ronaldo plays 5 seasons and doesn't score a single goal, it will not affect his classic. He's a great player, greatest of all time. He will stay in that class. But he still work harder. He still give his best. He's come to Juve again, and according to the report, they said yesterday, and this morning he showed up in training. He looked fitter than the rest of the team. He looked already, he felt like he has been in him for God knows how long. If you read Zlatan's book too, there was a time where everybody started looking up to Zlatan. Zlatan comes into a new team and everybody's looking at him, looking up to him because of his work rate. And it is that work rate that stands you out. So I think, in my opinion, I think that our players don't have that work rate, that extra 1, 2, 3, or 4 hours. When I was still in radio, and every now and again, some of these new guys will come ask me, Bros, how do you do it? How do you manage to stay consistent? You have answers to every question to do this. And I tell them it's reading. Look behind me. The money that some people will spend to go and buy fish, barracuda, go and do this one, point and kill, I spend it on Sportsbook. And I make sure I read them. It's not just for fancy. Now, I tell them that it's research, it's reading. I spend a whole lot of money on internet, on data. I like to get the best internet. That's why some people tell me that we're in Nigeria. I have a friend in the US who always tell me that. Your house, what kind of internet do you use? And it's not buffering, it's not, even if it happens maybe once in a while. Yeah. I invest a whole lot of money on it because this is how I always look at myself. Like, I'm either going to be the best in this game or I'm going to be the worst, the average guy in the game. So once I put my name like on anything, if I put my name on anything, like I want to do this thing, I've made up my mind, this thing is going to come out the best. Now, I might not start out as the best. I will struggle, you understand, because it's a learning curve. But I will make sure that yesterday is not better than today, and tomorrow is not worse compared to today. So every single day is going to be better. And once you put that mentality into the work, whether you're an office worker, you're a banker, you're a trader, you're a businessman, you're running an online business like I am trying to do, I think success would come eventually. You know, my mother used to say this, that when you give yourself, she make this parable. She will say, if leaves stay with soap for so long, the leaf will come the foam. It's and then she would narrow it down to us. Like sometimes my mom does that. She will like gather all the children and tell us that we should wake up early, choose what we want to do, who we want to be, and then give it our all. That it might not happen instantly, but if we continue, if we keep pushing, like the leaf, not the first day that you put the leaf and the soap together, that the leaf will begin to form. But if you put that for long, you understand? If you put it for long, you can separate the soap and the leaf, but the whole leaf will be smelling the soap, and like it's the crumb and the loaf. It's the story of the crumb and the loaf. And I think that we need to have players who are willing to give their all. African players needs to be willing, and then African players also needs to understand that I don't have to give my club 150% and give my country. I look at the African teams that went to the World Cup, and I watched Sadio Mane play. I tell myself that when I was watching the game, because there's a TV station that I was doing analysis for, that's not a Nigerian TV station anyway, but it's an American TV station, but they were interested in African players, so I did analysis for them via Skype. And I remember telling them that the problem here is take the American team, for instance, the US men national team. When they go to competition, they play to the death. Even though they lose, you could tell that you are satisfied with their commitment to duties, like the Marine who's gone to war in Iraq, in Afghanistan, Islamabad, wherever the Bahrain or whatever they are fighting. They go the whole 9 yards. But the African players don't go the whole 9 yards. They play, and you could tell, especially if you've played football before, you know when a player is running shots. There's something called running shot, first run. You pretend like you're going all out, but you're not. I think African players need to change their mentality in that way. African players, there was a time I had a conversation with Judo Diegalo many years ago, and I was complaining about national team and the behavior at the time. And I told him something. I said, don't tell me that when you were growing up, you were not reading sports newspaper, you were not following the news. Nigerian FAs have never been good since forever. Coaches in Nigeria have never been good since forever. They take bribe, they select players, with sentiment. The FA would hold your money and all that. So don't come to the national team and tell me you're surprised. They did it to Yekini. Who the hell are you? They did it to Kocha. They did it to Lisa. They did it to Steve Keshi. They did it to Austin Eguavoen. That's even why contract issue happened with Stevie, because I was acting for them, because I expect that these are people who already know, how the system works. But that happens. You see players when they play, it's strange. And then another thing that I think African national team needs to change. Do you know that Ita was it was Zlatan. Zlatan no go, we are dead. But Sweden was better without him. The same way Iceland was better without Good Johnson in the Euros and in the World Cup. Sometimes you look at these things, it's the attitude with which we do things here that is more or less the problem, not just the action itself, but the attitude that we put behind it. What's this say? I watch a little of street football and I see how players behave. A guy comes to training today and tomorrow is absent because he wants to rest. There's a field down the road. I formed that field in 2003 and I keep going there every now and again to go check up how things are doing. I've had a team there. I took a team from that place to the FA Cup in 2008. Try to encourage young people that are playing football, and comparing it to Warri, where we even pay money to come play football. We actually pay money to come play football. Every day you're coming to the field, you're coming with 10, 20 naira, when I was younger, for coach, that's coach money. And sometimes you pay that money, you will jog from the starting of the training to the end of the training, you will not kick ball. Sometimes you come with your boots and they want to play a match, they'll tell you, pull your boot and give to somebody. But the next day, you are still the first person to get there. And that doesn't happen. Okay, there's a question for me now. Evaristus Eze said, do you think there is a growing trend of Europe favoring attacking philosophy over pedigree in hiring coaches? Case studies, Chelsea, PSG, etc. I think that this is what I know about football since forever. It's not now. When Silvio Berlusconi bought AC Milan in 1986, he quickly went for the best attacking coach at the time. His name is Arrigo Sacchi. And he built the team. All the major players that they bought was strikers, even though they had great defenders that came in through the rank like Paulo Maldini, Baresi, Donadoni, Albertini, and the rest of them. But the major players were strikers. Same for Juventus, if you look at all the big record signing over the years, way back, they are midfielders and strikers. Same way the award winners are midfielders and strikers. So I think football on its own, football chose its parts. Football chose its part because it celebrates attackers more than it celebrates defenders. Defenders are next to goalkeepers. You can make 99 blocks in a 90 minutes game. The game is 0-0. You'll be making block, your man of the match. And then one shot comes through your wing and then you slide wrongly and it goes into your net and you're able. The girl child has never been favored, and one of the major case in point I always point to people is they brought a woman caught in adultery. Caught, underline the word, the action word there is caught in adultery to Jesus. And I'm asking, how did they caught her and they didn't bring the man? I always ask that question. They caught her in the act of adultery. Was she masturbating? I don't think so. They caught her in the act. They brought the woman, they didn't bring the man. So it's the same thing with defenders. They're always treated poorly. That's why when you buy a goalkeeper for 65 million, people will be shouting. You buy a defender for 60, 50, 60 million, people will be shouting. But 50 million if you say you want to buy Hazard, for instance, you buy the best goalkeeper for 60 million and people are making noise. If you say you're offering 60 million for Hazard, people tell you that money is too small. So there's a question mark. Hazard cannot score 40 goals a season. Goalkeeper will make 40 saves a season. Count it. Every time a goalkeeper palms a ball, catch a ball, count it. For every save, mark it as a goal. You understand? Because people try to make it look like it's clean sheets. No, don't judge like that. A goalkeeper is defending against 10 people, to say the least, plus the substitutions that will come in. A striker, at best, is playing against 4, 5, or 6 people. And he scores 40 goals and he's a legend. But goalkeeper makes more than 40 saves in a season. Says anything about them. So football has always chosen the path of attacker. So attacking coaches will always be favored ahead of defensive coaches. But then there are coaches who have found a way to balance that. Fabio Capello is a very good case in point. Fabio Capello found a way to balance the act. Sir Alex Ferguson was another one who balanced acts very well. It's always teams that can attack but at the same time defend very well. Defenders that you respect and fear. So Alex Ferguson signed some defenders, from the days of Gary Pallister. For those of you who follow football way back, Gary Pallister, Steve Bruce, Dennis Iwin, Roach. Then the Neville brothers, the class of 92 now. The Neville brothers, then you have Rio Ferdinand, then you have Yap Stam, and what's that French guy? That French guy that was a defender, Lamblanc. Yeah, see? It's Lamblanc now. Lamblanc is the one that played for Manchester United, and Frank Leboeuf was Chelsea. Yeah, Lamblanc. But in that same team, he had great attack-minded players from David Beckham to Dwight York to Andy Cole to Ruud van Nistelrooy, Dimitar Berbatov, Javier Hernandez, Ryan Giggs. There's some key players of Manchester United that some people of the generation don't remember. Andrei Kreshevskis, the Ukrainian-Russian, and then Makuj, a fantastic forward-minded players that were in the different eras of Sir Alex Ferguson's team. They were very fantastic players. And then if you add Robbie Van Persie to trophy number 20, you understand what I'm saying. So one way or the other, you notice that people like Sir Alex Ferguson, they are very rare. They are rare breed. They balance teams. They have great forward players, excellent midfielders, and great defenders. The way they work in the transfer market is they bullishly get the best. Sometimes when a coach calls you, the name of the coach, Sir Alex Ferguson, calls you and say, "Hello, I want to sign you." Have you guys read how Sir Alex Ferguson signed? Kane had already agreed a deal to go to Blackburn Rovers. He signed. Kenny Dalglish called him from Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest had agreed 4.5 million. They had agreed, but it was a Friday, and the secretary, the person that's supposed to bring the document that he would sign, had closed. They said he should come on Monday. So Alex Ferguson head and called the family of Roy Keane, and they gave the phone to Roy Keane. When you're talking to Roy Keane, when you're talking to Sir Alex, you're talking to a demigod. You understand? So, and he said, come, let's see. The guy took a flight from Ireland, came to Manchester, and Sir Alex Ferguson played snooker with him. And before you could see Jack Robinson, he had changed his mind. You understand? And plus longer short of it is they ended up Manchester United. So you look at those kind of power block coaches. We also don't have too many of them anymore because social media has actually changed a lot of things. Social media has changed the narrative that at that time, Reke was a nobody compared to Sir Alex. So these days you have players like Vinicius, for instance, that have become internet sensations. So one YouTube, let me give you a typical example. If Nigeria, for instance, like Nigeria is a country with a strong footballing culture. Some of these players that were playing out from grassroots. Do you know that if a Nigerian player, like, okay, there's we put on grass from grass feeder, and then there's that 14-year-old boy. If that 14-year-old boy gets, say, like he was a Brazilian and that video was up, he most likely will get like, say, 50 to 60 or 80 million views. Once that happens, teams like Real Madrid will go after him. You know why? The reason they'll go after him is not because the boy is overtly sensational, but they are not buying the footballer, but the brand. Something we have not learned how to create here. I always tell people that we don't have football culture here. We just react. We react to it. It's a pastime. Look at Argentina. Over 60,000 Argentines went to Russia. You know that all the Nigerians, the ones in diaspora that went to Russia for the World Cup, were not up to 20,000. Not up to 10,000 people. So plus the players, the FA officials, and majority of them went for free. People who bought their own tickets with their own money, and we're not up to 2,000 people. So you can see that we really do not have that kind of culture. So even to create a following that will not make people say, oh, this player have his own following. Look at players playing in Nigeria League, even the ones that are active on social media. No one, I repeat, no player playing in the Nigeria League that is on social media have up to 50,000 followers. But look at our comedians. Okay, look at our comedians, look at the numbers they are pulling. So it tells you it's not as if we don't have the people, but not really following. The reason why I keep telling people that it will be almost impossible for a Nigerian to win the BBC Africa Footballer of the Year. But people don't understand. The BBC Africa Footballer of the Year is voted by the fans. We will make noise from now to tomorrow. Victor Moses was nominated. Like I tell people that time I was ready. I said Victor Moses will not win it because all these people that are using 14 naira free Airtel or Etisalat credit to call on radio station will not go online to vote. But in those countries where you have like Egypt or those other countries, they not only vote, but they will use multiple browsers to increase the votes of their countrymen. We don't have that because we don't have the culture. I was in Egypt for like 6 months. When you see Al Ali, you hear that Al Ali and Zamalek want to play, or Ismail, or any of those clubs wants to play. You know that there is football going down. As in football going down. We've not created that. It almost happened with Enugu Rangers when they won the title, but they also blew it. I mean, it almost happened with Eibar. Now they've lost tastes. Kano still have a semblance of it, but it's not there because a culture is not supposed to be just because they are winning title. It's supposed to be there whether they are following. Derby County that played the whole season in Premiership won only one game. They still have fans. Okay. Evaristus says, if above case is true, what happens to Mourinho's mode of coaching, who appear to be more pragmatic than entertaining, given he has the resources at Man United to play an entertaining game like Sahales? Evaristus, what I will say is you have to go back and listen to this, watch this video from the beginning because we've dealt with this question completely. Emeka Izibe said the onus is on the players to go the extra mile and improve on their skills. I don't know what happened. What happened to my chats? Okay. And okay. Skills, thanks. Emeka Izibe said Black. Yeah, Lord Black was the name I was trying to remember. We've come to the end. Emeka Izibe, I believe the social media helped the 14-year-old boy you promoted make the future Eagles team under 15. Yeah, it did. It did. That video generated 150,000 views. But like I was saying, my company was going up. They got crazily excited, like, okay, this is how all our videos will be like. And I told them, no, tamper your expectations so that you don't get heartbroken when it happens. It's not going to happen like this regularly. You understand? Okay. Who's that person? Jolly Good Time or whatever his name is. Let me ignore you. Let me not say what I want to say. Let me not say what I want to say. Freedom of expression is allowed, so let me delete your message. Most of precious says social media is powerful. Achim Matso was signed by AC Milan after a compilation of his YouTube videos started to trend, although the guy couldn't hack it and was released at the end of his contract. Yes, that's my point. How many of such have we done for our players? When Wakali scored that goal against Atletico Madrid, when I was watching the game and I was telling myself that if Nigerians, because the video by different people, if Nigeria push this video and this video gets 100 million views, big clubs will look for him. You know what? Once you have that number behind you, the clubs will be like, okay, you know what? If we sign this boy, these persons that are viewing this thing would follow us. This following, all of them might not buy our original jersey, but a large number of them will buy it. And then this boy become our market outlet. But you know, they complain that he should be in the national team to the World Cup. Once that team was selected and it wasn't there, the video died down. These are some things we must learn. To fix Nigeria, we must take deliberate actions. We must choose to do some things with a deliberate intent. It must not be until it is for me or for you before you get involved. But you have to look at it like the world is leaving us behind. Look at South Africa. South Africa have less than 15 million people. We call ourselves the largest economy, but South Africa economy actually controls. Do you understand? So we must start to do some things deliberately, push brand, keep pushing this small thing. When I take, for instance, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow because time is really gone. I'll tell you guys why I chose to do grassroots. Time is gone. We've got less than a minute to go. There's nothing I can say anymore. Most of the pressure said that, remember how Owen on the free, his agent submitted a dossier to Sir Alex Ferguson. Yes, the same way Sir Alex signed one Portuguese player that I had not seen because of hype. So it doesn't work well, but that's why I'm saying players are we hype. I'm not hyping now. What we do about our players is, yes, baby came and it was baby didn't do anything. But the hype made him the talk, and they signed him for some money that Oge Hernandez just put in his pocket. Well, guys, it's 60 minutes on the dots right now. Thank you very much for 7.5 million. Good, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. Let's do it tomorrow. It's the same time, 3 to 4 p.m. And I believe that we would all enjoy the conversation if we come in early enough and we all, settle down for talk. There's so much to talk. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Okay, Friday is actually the free talk where we go past football and talk about other things. But tomorrow, I'll be here to answer more of your questions than do more of the talking. But let's make it 3 p.m. tomorrow and have a good time. Once again, it's the Elegbete TV Table Talk. My name is Sid Dafi Matthew. Do have yourself a wonderful day. Bye-bye.